But joining us now, of course, is a very special guest to discuss this story and the potential possibility that this will actually come true and not just look like a one-day wonder on International Women's Day. Aruna Jayanthi, CEO of Capgemini India, in fact, the first woman CEO of any technology company out of India. Aruna, thanks very much for joining us. The government has proposed this. What is your reaction? Do you think it's feasible? It will happen?
I think it's fantastic. I mean, it's pretty much accepted elsewhere in the world. For example, in Capgemini, we know that in France, there's a legislation asking for 40% of the directors to be women by in the next 6 years. So I think there's a movement globally, and I think it's time that India looks at it too. So I would think of it, it's a very positive step.
But Aruna, the big question then is how feasible is this proposal really for Indian companies to implement? Do you think it will be easy for them to get so many women directors on board?
I think it's feasible, but what's not clear to me from the report is whether this is, what is the timeline. I think the timeline is important. If we say it's next 1 year, I would say it's not feasible. If there's a timeline of 3 to 4 years, I think it's definitely possible. There are enough women in leadership positions today, but I think the challenge will still be to get the people into senior management positions and then to create that cadre of women who can actually take on these positions. So first is there enough supply in the industry, and the second is will it be accepted? And the second part I'm quite confident about, because I think there are many advantages. Companies do recognize that now, and having women in senior positions or on the board is helpful, both from a customer perspective, the employee perspective, and also from corporate governance.
That's true. I do like the fact that you're honest about the supply factor. At the end of the day, you need women, talented women out there on boards of firms. Do you think, though, companies will accept this idea coming from the company's bill as a provision on who should sit on their boards, something that many Indian companies, especially top managements, have been rather cagey about?
I think there's always this healthy debate about, how much of positive discrimination should you have, and this clearly is an example of that. But I do think it helps the industry move forward in that sense. So I don't think it's a bad idea at all. But at the end of the day, it's 20%, so it's 1 out of 5, which you could also argue saying that it's not that much. And if you are, 50% or more of your, customer base is women, you should not hesitate really to take that step.
Well, Aruna, your sector, the IT space, has a lot of women employees as such, but not many women on boards of companies. What are the sectors that you believe will find it easy to include women on their boards?
Clearly, if you look at the banking financial services industry, that's the most mature, I would say. The representation of women in senior management is the highest in that industry. So that's definitely, I would say, ready today. IT is another one. I would say manufacturing may be a little more difficult. Consumer products, I would definitely say, is ready.
All right, Aruna, thanks so much for joining us with your thoughts right here on Business Night. Great to have you with us on the show, and happy Women's Day to you too.
Stay with us right here on Top 10 at 10.